what would you tell him for the next debate? What would you tell Hillary and what would you tell Trump?
Be prepared and tell us exactly what you're going to do.
Did you hear this in the last debate?
No, I did not.
Did you watch the debate? Oh, yes, you did. Don't tell me you didn't watch the debate. I know you did.
I'm Canadian. It wouldn't help you.
She's Canadian. What do you think of what's going on in this country with this election?
You have a tough decision to make.
Yeah?
You know, I'm looking at both your candidates, and
Why, you think Trudeau is such a walk in the park?
I think he's a little more sophisticated than a couple of candidates that you have.
Are you worried about the open borders, us United States citizens coming into Canada?
I felt that it was a very one-sided battle. I thought that Trump did not display professionalism.
So what does Trump need to do in the next debate?
I think he should quit, honestly, at this point.
That doesn't make sense, and you know he's not going to do that. What would you tell him for the next debate? What would you recommend?
He had a lot of opportunities to attack her on so many different levels. Simply, she's the most corrupt individual that's ever ran for president.
What's she going to do for the next debate?
She's going to be on her heels, and she's going to be coming out with their typical response of it's, conservative conspiracy.
Yeah, the old right-wing conspiracy. Hey, I got some millennials. What are you going to tell Trump for the next debate?
He always speaks in generalizations, and I think he has to have a more meticulous plan moving forward.
Absolutely.
Before just saying, hey, I'm going to do this.
Absolutely.
This is the plan, but what is the actual plan?
I'm pretty sure during the debate on Monday, at least 15 or 20 times he said, we got to bring the jobs back. We're going to bring them back. But every single time he would be asked, how are you going to bring it back? He would just say, we're going to bring the jobs back, don't worry. So it's more so he's making promises with no sort of plan to execute on those promises.
Well, Hillary's been there for 30 years, made a lot of promises, and jobs have gone to hell in a handbasket.
I run the New York State Democratic Party.
Oh, we are in luck. What would you recommend in the next debate for him and for her?
Listen, I just assume that Donald Trump is going to do better in the next debate because he's going to have to prepare. That was the criticism of him this time.
I'm not even going to ask him who he's going to vote for. Do you want to know who I'm going to vote for?
Yeah, who are you going to vote for?
I'm not going to tell you. Did you watch the debate? You don't want to talk about the debate? I'm walking backwards. Boy, some people just don't have a sense of humor. The presidential election in 38 days now comes down to the battle of political corruption versus truth, where one candidate chooses political correctness, the other brave enough to state the obvious. One says things not politically correct, not run through the prism of the contemporary political lens. The other says things that are oh so perfectly politically correct, considers words carefully, filters them, and then flat out lies to our faces. All the while, anarchy on our streets, riots against the one line of defense that separates us from chaos, kids shot on playgrounds with little notice, and virtually the same number of people killed in one city, Chicago, than died in the Iraq War. And now global terrorism enters the homeland. One candidate sees the turmoil, the other says everything is great and life is beautiful, and prefers to talk about name-calling and the implicit bias that we have.
Lester, I think implicit bias is a problem for everyone, not just police. I think, unfortunately, too many of us in our great country jump to conclusions about each other. And therefore, I think we need all of us to be asking hard questions about, why am I feeling this way?
Isn't that nice? It's not so implicit, Hillary, when you call tens of millions of Americans who disagree with you every name in the book. You call us deplorable, and you tell us we are not America. Who then is America, Hillary? The people you're bringing in from other parts of the world? But no, you're worried about Donald Trump's name-calling 20 years ago. Now, you asked yourselves, folks, what's that got to do with anything? And you compare that to a Secretary of State who lies to us over and over, plays fast and loose with our nation's highest secrets, drones and satellite locations, for which others, not so powerful and connected, are prosecuted. What's more offensive, words or actions? A woman who ensures no one finds out what's going on in our State Department, who along with her cabal are wheeling and dealing between the State Department and her so-called charitable foundation, and when caught, evidence is destroyed with hammers and bleach pit. A woman who runs the State Department like a private piggy bank, missing $6 billion during her tenure. You tell me what's worse, name-calling or lying to grieving parents as their sons' bodies lay cold in caskets at Air Force Base, at Andrews Air Force Base, and then turning around and calling those very same parents liars. Like your husband, Hillary, impeached for lying, perjury, and obstruction of justice, you do it with arrogance and righteous indignation. And although he may be impolitic, and while I am not a fan of things he said 20 years ago about a woman under a contractual obligation to maintain her appearance, your history with women is all about destroying them. When you represented a pedophile who raped a 12-year-old girl, raped her into a coma for 5 days, her reproductive organs destroyed, you not only laughed when your pedophile client passed a lie detector, but you trashed an innocent 6th grader, a victim, saying with no factual basis she sought out men like her rapist and she was mentally unstable. And you're offended by Donald Trump's words, but when presented with the atrocities of a group called Boko Haram by the CIA and the FBI, you refuse to take action against them and label them terrorists, a group that's killed 2,000 people and now straps explosives to little girls. Might your relationship with your friend Gilbert Chaugary, a convicted Nigerian land developer who gave tens of millions to you and your foundation and global initiative, be the reason? The way you, Hillary, and your progressives fight terrorism is with a hashtag, Bring Back Our Girls. You don't support women, you destroy them. Whether it's all the women who accused your husband of serial marital infidelities, sexual harassment, or, yes, rape. Instead of protecting that 12-year-old, protecting a college intern, protecting a woman who claimed to be raped, your job, ruin them. Destroy any woman who gets in the way of your ambition. None of it the predator's fault. The war room created to assault the right wing, the crazy women desperate for attention, who wanted publicity, like Jennifer Flowers, who you said you'd like to crucify. You called her trailer trash. And Monica Lewinsky, you called her a narcissistic Looney Tune until we found your husband's semen on her dress. And Juanita Broderick, who says you threatened her. And I don't know what you said about Paula Jones, but you and your husband had to pay her $850,000 for your husband's sexual misdeeds. And you call them all bimbos. She's gaming you, folks. She takes money from countries who stone women for adultery to death. They kill them. They throw gays out of buildings. They kill them. This is a woman who's corrupted the State Department, the Department of Justice, and now, I am ashamed to admit it, the honored tradition of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. What's important, folks, are not words. What's important are actions. What's important is how one candidate has chosen to lie about issues that involve the government of the greatest nation on earth. One candidate who has chosen to lie about how she conducts the business of the United States of America, our business, the people's business, the governance of our nation. And now that you know what she is capable of, what's more important to you, political correctness or the truth? And that's my open.